Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Hanging in there? There are some pretty wild energies happening. Just to touch base, you might be feeling really anxious. You might have some energies of depression happening, feelings of hopelessness. On the other hand, you might be feeling newly energized, reinvigorated, excited. And this can be changing on a daily basis. So it can be fluctuating really easily at this time. You could be feeling really great one day and then feeling horrible the next day. Really pay attention to your body. If you need to drink extra water, there's definitely a need for keeping yourself as healthy as possible, just in terms of brain function, keeping your energy levels up, getting those endorphins going through your body. So exercising, because when you go into the darker months, I don't know where you are in the world, but over here we're in winter. So when you go into the darker months, you have that shadow energy naturally and that hibernation energy. And so it's really difficult going from a summer or spring energy of hibernation into winter hibernation. Hey, Teresa. So it can be taxing on your emotional system. It can be taxing on your spirit. And it can also, of course, be taxing on your physical body. And so be very attentive to yourself at this time. If you need to go for a spa treatment, do it. I know there can be a lot of financial restriction right now. And so, in some cases, I would say just go for it and splurge. Hi, Kathy. How you doing? And in other cases, depending on if that's going to create more anxiety for you, you're going to have to discern which is the higher value for you. So definitely a lot of solar plexus shadow work. So basically that feeling of loss of power, things not going our way or being uncertain in how things are unfolding, that can cause a lot of anxiety as well. And discussing this today in terms of your spiritual path, your spiritual purpose, it can be really difficult when we feel time's up. Enough time has gone by. We've done what we said we were going to do. We listened to synchronicities. Basically, we've been diligent with our learning and our lessons and taking them in as much as we can and really seeing things from a higher perspective. And even when that's all said and done, if your life feels stagnant or the energies aren't quite moving yet, that can be really, really hard to navigate and move through. It can feel like a mountain in front of you where there's maybe like a little hole, going under that's already been created or that spirit is working on. And so right now, I think there's this heavy message to hold on, hang on, and find your own way through this. You might be coming to the recognition or realization that you have to be there for yourself. You might be moving forward with entrepreneur ideas and people are kind of like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And you have to be there for you. So whereas before you would look for others to go, hey, you're doing a great job or keep up the good work, now you have to be that person for yourself. And so in the past, we were doing that with mothering and fathering. You would have to be your own father, your own mother to heal some of the wounds from the past. Now you're actually going into a deeper look at your own identity. So where you can be there for yourself as well as re-healing, relearning things that you did differently in the past. So it's an identity shift that might be coming out of an identity crisis for you. Hang in there, hold on. If you do have people that are, there for you through thick and thin, reach out to them, let them know, hey, I'm struggling. One of the things I came in to recognize today after a lot of talking with my guides, a lot of, synchronicities coming through saying things are going to look up, things are coming in. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? Things seem to be like pretty the same every day. But what I did recognize and what I will share, because you might be feeling the same way, even though I am a warrior, even though I move through things and I really dig deep and I get to the bottom of it and I analyze every detail so that I can feel like I looked at the situation from a million different angles, I am still moving through some of my trauma and some of my wounds from the past. And I had really wanted to be done with it. I wanted it to be over with so that I could move forward. And feeling a little bit held back by those energies, I just wanted to put them behind me. And having done a lot of work on those energies, which include a multitude of different things, I just thought, I've done so much. How can this not be enough for things to move forward? And I think what Spirit is saying is it is enough. There's no real explanation that can be given in terms of how we see time and work with time in this side of things. But I do hope, and it is important for you to get in touch with your own faith and your own trust system, that you're going to be making headway in your own way as much as humanly possible, and reaching out to whoever you need to so that you can be there for yourself and you can be there for these opportunities and be ready to say yes to adventure. And you might be really weary, you might be really tired. And so some of these steps, some of these new moves, they're not going to feel great at first. You might feel kind of, all right, I guess I'm starting again. Okay. And it might be really challenging. So be kind and gentle to yourself through that. Honor that challenge. Honor that you might still be in pain over the loss of a loved one and or the loss of a relationship, a move, geographical location, family member, exactly like I said. There's definitely a lot going on for different people. It could have been a loss of a job, and you're still kind of not really sure where you're headed. Just breathe and ground and do your best and keep moving forward. With that being said, definitely wanted to pop on and do a love reading, because another thing about this time is it's very special in that we have a lunar eclipse at the end of the month, and there's a lot of energy going on about twin flames, soulmates, soul bonds, karmic contracts completing, past life energies, things resolving, this overarching energy for people to make amends, and it will be through their own journey. But it's really important for people to speak up and speak their truth, and also tap into their emotional feelings, so their emotional body, and really come forward, come out with it in terms of the truth. And that's going to be moving and shifting a few things, and especially energetically, as old partners and energies move out and a new kind of blueprint energy comes in. And so you can be having revitalization within existing relationships, or you can have a totally new soulmate who's coming on in, and we're preparing our energies for that union, for that connection. And so, but there is a lot of twin flame union energy. There is a lot of soulmate energy. And so I did want to tune in and see, hey, is there any extra information we can get on this as we're moving forward? And this might serve for you as an affirmation or reassurance. It might be the first time you've heard this message, or if you listen to a lot of different readers online, it might be the same message over and over and over. And what I have to say to that is, if it's the same message over and over and over, there might be something that you glean or garner from each different reader. But Spirit is really just saying, okay, now you have to trust how this unfolds. And there's a certain level to which you are overwhelming yourself with that incoming information. So be discerning and balance the amount of energy you are inputting towards figuring out the future, besides just knowing it in your heart. So, and I mean, I'm talking obviously unbalanced amount of energy going in, but it can be just like any other addiction. So just be aware, and let's dive in and see what we have in terms of the romance energies. So I'm just going to do past, present, future with clarifiers. I'm using my Kindred Spirit Love Oracle as well as my soul indicators. And I might pull clarifiers from my decks, and I'll let you know which ones I'm using. So first off the hop, in our past position, we have last place. So this is from my Kindred Spirit. Someone is too focused on others and putting themselves last. This may be someone who resonates as an empath or caregiver. They need to overgive. The need to overgive comes from a need to feel validated through giving. You are worthy of receiving too, as there needs to be equal balance in a relationship. It's time to put yourself first. So we saw this huge shift from people who grew up naturally giving and or, giving so much love because you need to feel validated. And that's something that comes from childhood wounding and trauma, abandonment or neglect from childhood. And now we're really seeing that, and we're going, wow, I don't need to give in order to feel like my love is valid or like I'm validated. I can receive too, and I don't need to give so much to someone, and by doing so put myself at a disadvantage or put myself second to someone because I'm investing all of my energy into them. So now we're basically going, okay, I'm going to prioritize myself, and in doing so, I'm going to pay more attention to where my energy goes, and is it balanced with the people I'm investing in? Do they give too, or are they just taking? And so it's their responsibility if they're a taker to balance that, and it's your responsibility if you're a giver to balance that. So really interesting message coming through. And we're done putting ourselves in last place. So let's see what Doreen Virtue's romance angels have to say. Children. Yes, this makes total sense. Your love life is being affected by children. So these are our childhood wounds really coming up and showing us through this slow motion, painful, challenging time of looking at the shadows, looking at how we treated ourselves, let alone treated other people, and the mistakes that we made without even really realizing it. And those are what we call subconscious patterns of attraction. And so we're really, really realizing that we deserved the love and attention that we craved as children, and we don't have to sell ourselves. We don't have to put on a show, be sparkly and shiny to deserve love. That is supposed to be given inherently. We don't have to give in order to receive love. That's a baseline, right? So it's a really interesting time to be looking at those childhood wounds. And like I mentioned in the beginning, refathering yourself so that you can look at where your parents made mistakes and didn't show up for you and show up for yourself, so that you don't continue this energy of either just taking because you need to hoard that energy because you don't feel like you'll ever really have love, or you're giving because you're like, love me, like, look at all I'm giving you, you have to love me. It's kind of a way of pressuring somebody, right? So very interesting past messages. And the underlying energies going through there is victim mentality. So that's from my soul indicators. They're just little tiny cards of kind of light and shadow. So we're really understanding where we felt victimized as children. So that could be with an alcoholic parent, abusive parent, absentee parent. Could have been if you had multiple siblings, where there was like the golden child and the scapegoat. There's so many things that happen. You could have had a narcissistic parent, and they could have imbued upon you different narcissistic patterns. So a fear of love or not having your needs met. This could happen in so many different ways. It could be financially. If you had poverty when you're growing up, You might be terrified of not having money. And so your focus is entirely on money. And you put to the wayside, your relationships. And so then you end up having a chaotic life, even though you think you're going towards this safety and security. There's still an imbalance because it's all the way over on the other side of the pendulum, right? So we're coming into this balance and this awareness that, yes, there can be situations, there can be childhoods where we are victims of someone else's behavior, victims of circumstance, but there can be this energy that comes with those things if we take them through time that becomes an overarching way of thinking, which is the victim mentality. And so you might not be surprised if I told you that in psychology, you could have a narcissistic personality who's taking, and you can have an empathic personality who's giving. And each of those people, surprisingly enough, would be in victim mentality. So this person's thinking, I never can get it right, or this is too much for me. I can't handle emotions, does not compute. And this person is going, I gave you everything, you gave me nothing. I'm a victim here. And this person's, I'm a victim here. Well, they're both victims of circumstances from childhood that were out of your control. So at some point, there was victimization that was out of your control. You had to adapt to survive. So you had to behave in a certain way in order to receive love, receive food, receive clothes, not to be abused or beaten, not to be verbally assaulted, these things, right? And that it is a bit dark, but I'm just going right through it here because this is big stuff. Now we're recognizing, okay, we can perpetuate that over time, or we can implement strategy to stop that mentality from continuing and do our absolute best to heal ourselves and not outsource that healing to others. You need to change. You need to change. You need to change. No, we're going, I'm going to change. If you do, that's great. If not, I'm changing. Here I go. So to clarify that, we have sanctuary. Yes, we have been building this inner sanctuary. So it says, within your heart, a space of regenerating sanctuary awaits. So we've all been through it. I mean, you've had your heart broken at some point, whether, like I said, it was a death of a loved one, a relationship where you lost contact, or a breakup, or a situation where you had to move from a place you loved. And the heart space wasn't a sanctuary because there was a lot of pain there. There's a lot of trauma there. And so right now we're still working on recreating this heart space, refortifying it in a way that's healthy for us instead of why we did so in the past when the parameters and variables have totally changed, right? So we are creating from a solid foundation and from a better awareness and understanding of ourselves and others, a sanctuary within our heart. So that's really, really beautiful. Let's see what's going on for the present energies. Priorities. This one's also not surprising, although not too exciting. There is a difference in priorities, which is causing a block or challenge in this situation. One person may have more focus on the material realm than the spiritual realm. There is energy out of alignment and communication required. So it does seem like no matter whether this is existing or a new lover coming through, a reconciliation, communication is the biggest factor here. And really, it's about figuring out, are your priorities aligned? And how can you best move forward if they're not? How can you get on the same page if you're not on the same page? So somebody can be stalling or just having blocks, letting go. So some people are learning how to sacrifice for the long term. So sacrificing instant gratification for long-term enjoyment. And that's where someone in this particular party, so the person that's coming in for you or yourself, you might be kind of like self-protecting and going, okay, no, I don't have time for a relationship. I'm just going to focus on my money, right? Or just your security. So make sure that if you're doing visualizations or calling in this partner, that you are reaffirming there is space for you. Like, there's space for you in my life. There's space for romantic energy in my life. I am going to be taking care of my financial security, and I would like a romantic relationship, right? So, and your priorities can be flexible as well. So let's see what our clarifying cards are. So from Dorian Virtue's Romance Angels, we have trust, something we are all working on. So this situation is calling for you to have faith. Whoa. So it's saying, Spirit is basically reminding us, okay, you've had blocks before where you took maybe a little bit longer than you would have wanted, or somebody else was kind of waiting on you per se in terms of a soul connection, waiting patiently for you to work through your stuff. And Spirit is saying either you or this person needs time to really figure out their priorities, because you can't dictate that to them, and nor would you want to, given the energies of the past that we are letting go. We are releasing that. Everyone's responsible for their own energy. We're not rescuing anyone, and we're not being babied by anybody either. So this energy is saying this block has to be removed by that person. So you can send love, courage, trust, faith to this person. You can say, whoever my next soulmate is, or my romantic love connection that is coming in, that's destined, or whatnot, or that I'm calling in actively, sending you courage to speak your truth, make courageous moves, change your mind, all of these things. So let's see what we have in terms of shadow or light. Ooh, Liar. We have 2 shadow energy cards coming through. So someone is telling themselves some lies. And what I get directly from this is someone is just being so stubborn about communicating their feelings, or coming into their heart space and getting back out onto the dating scene, or apologizing, or just taking responsibility for their actions and what they want. And so somebody is blocking themselves, right? They're saying one thing is a priority in their mind, one thing's a priority up here, but the heart is saying something different. And so there's lies, there's self-deception going on. And it's interesting, having this situation is calling for you to have faith and trust. And we have the shadow element, an underlying element, as a liar. So we're really having to see through to the truth of the situation. Is this person deceptive purposefully? Are they self-deceiving? Does your mind jump to the absolute worst thing? Or are you going to allow Spirit to bring it to the table, and then that you have the ability, tools, resources to make the decisions if that person's not right for you, or if they are. So to clarify that, we have transformation. So the process of self-transformation will open your eyes to the timeless truth of yourself. So we have truth, trust, faith, lies, blocks, and challenges. So really, really coming forward here and taking responsibility for all of this energy. But not only that, we're continuing to get to the bottom of the timeless truth within us. So if you're having dreams about certain new connections coming in, or old connections, our spirits are trying to wrap things up for us, helping us understand the web of the past so that we can move forward gently into the future, but with a sense of closure. So this transformation is still in process. So there is transformation here from lies to truth. From not being able to see to being able to see, to be able to understand, and to have an honest understanding and acknowledgement of what your priorities truly are. So is it family? Is it friends? You know, can you put money to the wayside? Is that just leftover from victim mentality or not enough mentality? It's really important to just take a moment to tap into those energies and what they mean to you. And future energies, we got a struggle in internal battle. Someone is experiencing deep inner conflict with regards to how they show up in relationship. Remember, I was talking about that inner child, those inner child wounds, you guys. This is big stuff. This is like, once you break through these inner child wounds, your relationships will change forever. So this is a personal issue and not about you. This person needs to learn this lesson without being rescued or enabled. Wow. So whichever spectrum they're on, narcissist, empath, and I'm just saying that because that's a really big energy play that's been happening for the past couple years with karmic energies, twin flame energies, really battling the inner shadows on both sides of empath, narcissist, divine masculine, divine feminine. So being able to give, being able to receive, knowing what's balanced. And this is really saying, for those of you who are reading or listening, this is about them, okay? So you can't push them. You can't force it. This person is still going through their transformation. And so you might have to, if you're in a relationship, you might have to give them a little extra space while they go through this. This is a time of awakening too. So you can have people going through dark night of the soul. You can have people going through their first awakening, that moment where they realize, you know, how much more there is, and or they recognize, wow, I do have intuitive abilities and spirit is communicating with me. They are advising me and guiding me to a certain direction or action. And I'm, whoa. And the first response usually is to resist, especially if you had a real hard go of things as a child. And there are certain traits and patterns that are harder to break into and recognize. Those take some extreme divine intervention, and it can be horrifying for the people going through it to realize everything they knew is false, or their belief system is totally an illusion based on a fear of love or fear of rejection, fear of abandonment. Those are the most common ones. So definitely an internal battle is happening with someone. Someone's going through it. This person coming in is struggling. If you want to, you can send assistance, but the best thing for you to do is just stand in your power. You stay calm and collected, even if you're like, where are you? Like, I will send a horse for you if your snail breaks down, because like, hello, over here, right? So yeah, if you feel yourself getting resentful, like, come on already. And I've been here too. I've been saying some funny things in 5D telepathy, like, you better be prepared. You better be prepared for when you come in if you take too long. But that's just me having a little bit of fun too. But let's see what our romantic angels have to say about this person who's experiencing extreme distress. They just haven't broken through to the other side yet. They're still in their head. Like we've seen here, their priorities are still a little bit off balance. Yeah, be prepared. Oh, here we go. You guys, it's happening. Getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. So no matter what, there's going to be some deep truth spoken. And the crazy thing about this is, you guys, these people, these soulmates, they might never have been this open before to anybody. And so you're taking a risk loving again. They're taking a risk being honest and vulnerable. And each person is like, right? They're just totally, I don't know the word to even describe that, but just anxious. But it's like, I guess, anticipation, like excited anticipation, where you're hoping for the best outcome. You're, a little bit cautious about sharing or revealing if you've been hurt before, but you know that your heart's been guiding you in this direction. You have had dreams. Your heart is leading you somewhere, either to a certain person you already know, or you have your eyes on, or whatever for cross watchers. But so you will be getting to the truth of a situation. You will be moving into that energy where you are getting to know each other and revealing your innermost selves. So that's without the masks. Let's see if we have a light card out of our soul indicators, or if it's all shadow this week. It's all shadow. It says unavailable. So yes, this person, it's kind of funny actually. I was hoping for a more exciting romance reading, but you can't force someone to show up, right? Even if it's a divinely guided union, it doesn't guarantee that it's going to happen right now, right? There'll definitely be all the support the universe can provide for you to find each other, or that energy that you connected on before you came here, you agreed upon to play out and to evolve and grow and flourish and blossom. But somebody is just really stuck in that unavailable energy. So they haven't opened the door, so to speak. And this could be you. It could be you. You might be, I'm a little unavailable. I'm going through a personal internal crisis. Thank you very much. You can hold your horses or your snail, whatever it happens to be. And the possibility here is too, if it is twin flame and it is reflecting, you guys are both going through this confusion of, okay, heart is saying one thing, mind is saying another, but you know where the direction your soul wants you to go. But you might be kind of tying off loose ends beforehand, and you might be even lying about your feelings to yourself and others. You might not have really expressed this to anybody, that you have feelings for someone or that you're ready for a new relationship. But in this internal battle, this deep inner conflict with how to show up, maybe they've always felt unavailable, this person. And if we go back to the childhood conflict or energies, you can feel like you don't deserve love as a child, and you take that into your romantic relationships. It doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside. You could have a 6-year relationship with someone, and that person can be safe. You don't have to be vulnerable. They're more like a friend, your comrades. There's no real investment, but it looks great on the outside. There's finances are fine because each person has their own finances. So you never get beneath the surface. So you might have gone through surface level relationships that are just fine. They don't have conflict. They don't have anything because you're never required to go deeper than the surface level. And now this person or yourself is being guided into deep, committed energies where you will have to be available and communicate and ready to commit and be honest about your priorities. So my priorities are family, right? Or my priority is making a beautiful home for us. So for example, if there was somebody who really is focused on the material realm, they can be really selfish in that. It's my way. This is my goal. This is my dream. This is what I'm accomplishing. Or they can be a little bit more open with that energy and go, we could build a house together. We could build an empire, right? So you see how you can still maintain some of that energy if it's something that you're really passionate about, but you can also include it to open and expand your priorities if your priority is also relationship and love and family or whatever it is for you. I'm just giving an example here. So it's time for this struggle to end. It's time to show up and be honest with yourself. Are you available for the highest and best thing that you are calling in? Are you available for what you deserve? that love that takes work, right? So it's interesting. But as you talk to each other and as you really reveal the truth, the fears, the insecurities, wow, I think minds are going to be blown. It's going to be very intriguing. And we have creativity as our clarifier for this. Allow your creative spark to work magic. So there definitely seems to be some fire energy, some passion energy. They're saying like Tinder, twin flames, right? There definitely has to be a spark to reignite these connections because we're just tired of doing it the old way. We don't want drama. We don't want unexpected upheavals, if they can be prevented. If they're caused by those fears, insecurities, and trauma patterns from the past, where we're like, okay, no, we do not want to repeat those. Thank you very much. Learned the lessons, wrote the manual. Let's move on to that next best thing. Let's move on to what, I've really been learning these lessons for, so that I can be the person who is able to receive this love, is able to give this love, and understand that, yes, I can show up in relationship. Yes, I can be available. And I'm going to be very honest about what my insecurities and fears are moving forward and what is really important to me, what my needs are. So very creative conversations are going to be happening here with either new love, like I said, you're in relationship. You're going to be talking about totally new ways to relate to each other and bring in some inspiration and excitement into a relationship. And if this is a reconciliation, there's going to be some very creative ways in how to get in touch with each other and how to start that communication, because it might be really challenging with all this shadow energy, right? Like when we get all shadow energy, it probably does not surprise you guys listening at all, because there's so much shadow underbelly energy coming up through this last couple weeks. And even if you're doing good, you can tell that your spirit is working through deeper than the surface. You can tell it's working through energies and maybe even communicating or helping people in your sleep. So that's what we have for the energies. I'll ask you guys, do you feel like that's pretty clear, or do you want clarifiers from one of my decks on all of those, or should we just jump into the private readings? You let me know. So if you want clarifiers, write clarifiers, and we'll see if there's enough of a group connection to go with clarifiers, or we'll just do individual card pulls. So let me know. You can write yes, please, if you want a card pull, and or put clarifiers, and then we would do private cards afterwards. So let us see. And I think I'm going to use my fantasy oracle for the private pulls. Yeah, so interesting reading. Still very deep, very complex. Like, not a lot of very lighthearted energy coming through. So we're all still dealing with some of that inner angst, right? Dealing with having faith again. So moving from doubt to faith and trust and overprotection to just healthy boundaries. So let's see here. All right, let's go into the private cards then. I think that means that you guys found that general reading to be very clear. So we'll start off with Teresa. And I think we did Fantasy Oracle last time, so we'll see if we get any repeats. But Teresa, this message is for you from your highest self with regards to your romantic life. Let us see. George is joining us here. Our little doggy medicine. Oh, let's see. No. Teresa, for your highest and best. Oh, here we go. Okay. So this message is for you. Feeling fragmented. So just feeling a little bit off lately, like maybe not in your power, feeling a little bit insecure. Maybe there's body issues happening And this might have been something that you thought that you had overcome, and maybe someone triggered you or said something, and it just set you off in terms of thinking about this from a negative standpoint instead of coming from that warm and nurturing place. And so, or your mind, and this could be connected to sleep problems. So this could be insomnia, but the mind is just feeling fragmented. So you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious. Oh, George is just cruising around. But definitely not feeling that as stable as you usually do, or as grounded as you usually do. So let me know if you need a clarifier for that one. But Teresa, that is your message there for you. And I'm actually going to leave these out of the deck so that everyone has a new card. You want clarifier? Okay, let's do one from my Kindred Spirit. So I worked really hard on these cards. I find that they're really elaborate, and that should give you a good idea of what is behind that fragmented energy. So this one says awakening. Okay, that also makes sense. You are learning to embrace peace, clarity, and keep your eyes wide open to opportunities. This is a huge milestone for your soul's learning. You are now moving away from situations or people that are not in alignment with your energies and embracing the flow of universal abundance. This is a second awakening and a grand achievement. Be proud of yourself. So that's part of what this fragmented means. Actually, it's interesting because they're also showing me dual energies for this. It doesn't have to be seen as a negative energy, the fragmenting. It can simply be that you're coming apart to come back together more strongly. So that's good that you grabbed a clarifier for that one. All right, so the next we have Jocelyn. All right, so Jocelyn, this is for you, for your highest and best in regards to your romantic life. Romantic energy, there we go. Okay. Woo! Why, Jocelyn? I'm like, do you have to pull a clarifier for this one too? But it says emotional turmoil. So this anxiety and or this second wave, there's just something that has everybody looking at their perceived weaknesses, I guess, or fears about love, fears about relationship, and what maybe isn't showing up as we thought it might. And or how are we feeling? Are we ready? Can we trust? Do we feel like something was lost along the way? Definitely. Oh, it's interesting because, yeah, this is a mermaid, right? It's a mermaid in the ocean, but there's stormy clouds up above, right? So essentially in your emotional world around romance, it's very conflicted. There's definitely some old wounds that are kind of creeping back up and going, hello. And I don't feel like, how do I say this? Spirit is just saying that these issues are popping up not to stay for long. So they're just a little reminders of how far we've come, but also what we're not going to settle for, and we're not going to reinvest our energy in. So Jocelyn, for you, this one is indicating that there is some triggering happening, old wounds resurfacing, but they're not meant to stay long for you. So we will clarify. But interesting, Spirit's really coming through like, okay, we know you want all the good stuff, but you guys have to continue through the muck in order to become the lotus blossom. So your clarifier is mind games. Ooh, nasty, nasty. Fear is at the base of mind games and manipulation. Someone's greatest fear is love, as it makes them vulnerable. Someone is being deceitful in order to get what they want for the least effort in return. So this could be someone breadcrumbing you. Attention seeking is at play in a harmful dynamic. It is best to disengage from this dynamic and seek support. Mind games can include gaslighting, which leads to severe power loss and spiritual exhaustion. This is a no-win situation. So that's really, really, really clear. Definitely either this is something that happened in the past that is really affecting you now, affecting your ability to trust, to move forward, and or there truly is someone in your life right now who's breadcrumbing you, playing games with you, seeking to manipulate you, and Spirit is saying this is no win. You don't win, they don't win. It's not good for either person's soul development to stay in that dynamic. So definitely something causing this emotional turmoil here. And like I said, this could be from a past experience with psychological abuse or manipulation. I'm not sure why my screen is, the light is playing today. I haven't changed anything, but I look green. So there you are, Jocelyn. I hope that resonates for you. And, you know, just knowing you do have the strength and the ability to move through that energy, although it is really challenging right now. And those fears are coming up to the surface, which can, when you're on a roll, it can feel like, okay, like you just, you know, put a branch in my bicycle wheel or something when you thought you were doing good and then something comes up. But keep on going. Yeah, Teresa, right? Keep on moving forward. And yes, take a look at what's going on. Yes, disengage with those toxic energies or unravel yourself from them. Bye-bye. But don't stay in that energy too long. So if you have to, you know, bounce out of that and go into discussions with a friend who really brightens up your energy, or go to a place, a space that really brightens up your energy, and then move from there, move from that space. So hopefully that makes sense for you, Jocelyn. All right. So Kathy, you are up next. Kathy, this is for your highest and best message from your higher self about your love life. What does Spirit want you to know? There we go. Hello, regeneration. So you are definitely in the process of regenerating yourself, looking at love from a totally new perspective, new vantage point. And it's also kind of about you taking some rest time too. So in retrospect, you're going to look at it and go, okay, well, while I was waiting, I was really taking care of myself. I was regenerating, rejuvenating, and really rediscovering myself and what I need to move forward here in love. So really, really beautiful energies of regeneration here. And, you know, this model has a lot of gold, you know, on her. So she's got a lot of gold energy. And so you're enjoying the rewards of your efforts as well. So this regeneration is about, you know, you taking care of yourself. And this other person, the person that's coming in, will also be someone who takes good care of themselves. So they're not going to need a caregiver. They're also in this regeneration energy. So really, really beautiful energies there for you, Kathy. I like that card. I don't use these ones as much. I don't know why, but they're super fun as well. So let's see. Stacy, I think you are next. And I think that will be it too, unless somebody else watching wants one. But that might be everybody. I'm not sure. So this one is for Stacy. Stacy, this is a message from your higher self about your romantic love life. Ooh, that one. This one wanted to come out. Ooh, shamanism. This one came out in the regular reading, I think, from last week. And this one is saying, all right, if you are facing some deeper than usual challenges, this is why. So when you call in shaman energy, you might have asked yourself, am I a shaman? Can I even call myself a shaman? What makes someone a shaman? how well. You basically are born that way. So you're born as a medicine person, a medicine man, medicine woman, as an oracle, a psychic person. And I guess there's key checkpoints where you allow that energy to unfold, and it's utilized through service to others and service to yourself, right? But in terms of relationship, because this is a love reading, this to me indicates that if you're single and waiting for a relationship to come in, if you have this energy, essentially you're running one of those courses for, the reality TV show where you get bonked off and you have to climb a 50-foot wall and then jump into a pool of lava and swim to the other side. That's essentially what you are doing to get into the energy for both parties to receive this relationship as it's intended to be. If you are in relationship, there might be some contention between your awakening, your energy, your shaman energy, and this person might not be understanding things, and you might not be able to really communicate with them on that. So there might be a time of shifting, a time in between where you're elevating and you're growing, and somebody might not be growing with you on that timeline. I'm having a hard time figuring out. But anyways, in general readings, I don't like to say anything too specific. It is a private card pull per se, but I'm not going to go too deeply into it. So essentially here, though, you do have extra challenges when you are a medicine person. And so this connection is very important. So whether you're in it or it's coming in, it's not just for you. These connections are divine unions. And what that also means is it's not just for you. Yay, I get a divine union. What that means is that both your energies combined create so much more love, so much more service than your individual energies apart. So the energies combined actually basically cultivate a bonk. They actually cultivate like a new energy all in themselves. And that's crazy. But if you've been hearing like fertility energy or like new beginning, that can include that new energy that both of you combine make. So I can pull a clarifier on this if you want, but this to me is pretty clear in terms of how I read this for a love reading. So you just let me know. But you're definitely, if we take a look at this picture too, you're definitely learning to love yourself in your singlehood, because I'm just reading your message there. You're learning to love and take care of yourself as much as you can. Like you might still yearn for and be pissed off about being single on occasion or a lot. But you also know that you have this value that you can't just kind of sell to the lowest bidder, right? So you're not willing to sacrifice all that you've worked for just to be in a relationship. You need so much more than that. You need it to be on all levels, intellect, spiritual, mind, physical, financial security, like all of it. It needs to be in alignment. And so the wait is worth it, even though like all of us can testify to, who do they think they are coming in on these snails? Who do they think they are? Anyways, so I shouldn't have looked at the bottom of the deck. Should I show you? I'm going to, because I did. So when I said, who do you think you are? I'm laughing. This is the energy that they're in. This is the energy. So destructive. So maybe it's a good thing they're not headed our way just yet. They need to figure themselves out, because they're not coming in with this. No. So because we're not enabling anything, they have to rescue themselves. They have to figure out how to disentangle themselves, how to get themselves out of that emotional or mental patterning. And when they do that, they're really elevating themselves to emperor status or divine masculine status, or divine feminine. Like, doesn't matter to me who you love. Love is love. So when I say masculine and feminine, it's just easier than saying non-binary. But I do include non-binary in my descriptions quite a bit. So, but they in this, so let them figure this out before they come in, right? Because we want someone who is stable, right? So we're working to be stable in our own right. Yeah. Snail just took a left. Awesome. So definitely worth the wait for these partners to get out of the shadow energy, to overcome it themselves, because that's power, that's mastery, that's courage, that's fortitude. They're showing you by just living their lives that they're willing to show up. So it's taking a yeah. Jocelyn. Yeah. Well, here we come up to 555. There you go, everybody. So yes, there's definitely some energies here that need to be moved through before these unions can take place. But Spirit is strongly encouraging people to get out of the situations that are not serving. Get out. And everyone's going to be feeling a lot of pressure to get out of those situations that don't serve anymore. And those of you who are in that energy of calling something in, Spirit is going to be urging you to open up, trust. So you're going to be feeling those energies. Okay, it's time to trust again. You're not broken. You can do this. There is someone, right? All you have to do is be you. Those are the synchronicities and the messages you're going to be hearing from Spirit, right? So depending on where each of you are at, you're going to have different messages coming through to support you into this next path, next relationship. So really interesting read tonight, probably because there's so many different energies watching live, and then that'll be catching the replay that this applies to. But definitely some strong messages coming through, and a recognition of some serious shadow energies that are still being worked through. So honor that. Just like you are experiencing challenges and difficulties, your partner also is. So, send them strength, all the power to you, but you can do this on your own. You don't need me. And be ready for that creative communication. When the time comes, you're going to have to choose to be available, or you can stay unavailable. So that opportunity is coming. So prepare yourself and focus on yourself as we move forward here. Because it may come in quick, So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in again. It's so awesome. I love it when we can have that communication and that dialogue in there. So my schedule might be changing. I will put some updates to that. But as of now, I am still receiving bookings. So you can book in with me for a private reading. You can do either an hour or an hour and a half. So the hour booking right now is on special for 100, down from 111. The 1.5 hour booking is 155. Now, I'm sure there'll be some deals coming up, but right now that one still as is at 155. And you can also donate if you feel inclined, but you don't have to. And you can find the link in the details below when this is published, or any of my other videos definitely have that donation opportunity on there. And I think that's everything. If you guys are interested in buying any of my decks, I am working on a couple new ones actually, so I'm really excited about that. But you can help me design and order those by supporting the channel as well. So, and or the Oracle cards. So just let me know. You can either DM me for more info, or you can go online and order those from makeplayingcards.com. And the the link is listed below too. So you guys, take such good care of yourself. I'm in it too. Don't think that I'm not in it. I am in it. I almost had a conniption trying to put a windshield wiper blade on my car today. I'm like, do I need a mechanic to figure this out, or can I actually do this myself? Thank you very much. But I think I've got it. We'll find out tomorrow. Hopefully my wiper blade doesn't fly off. But so if you are all over the place or feeling ungrounded, just remember there is power in unity, in friendship, in connection. And yes, things are challenging and difficult, and we can feel so isolated. And especially for the singles, you can have that extra energy of feeling like, other people have a support system right there in their family. Some of us have fur babies, some of us don't. But if you are struggling, please let someone know, at least someone who knows that, people do go through ups and downs and shadow and light, and that there is seasonal affective disorder, there is depression, there is anxiety, and that these things, they happen and they go in different cycles. And for different people, they might affect you more powerfully than others. So if you are really struggling, reach out. You can reach out to me, or you can reach out to someone that you trust that's in your circle. But definitely reach out, because I think a lot of us are suffering in silence. And sometimes that can happen when, things have been bumpy for a really long time, or, other people are going through it too. So you don't want to take up space, and we can revert into that energy. So just remember, you can take up space. You can use your voice. You can say, I'm struggling, or you can say, I'm doing great. So if you're struggling, I can hold space for you. I can talk to you. I can listen. So do your best to ask for what you need at this time, and take such good care of yourselves. So take care. I'm going to be trying to do the end of the tarot scopes. Please check on the playlist if you haven't read yours already. Most of them are up there. I think I just got to Pisces, and so I'm going to be doing a couple more. I think I still have Aquarius and Scorpio to go, as well as maybe Virgo. No, I think I did Virgo. But anyways, just take a look on the channel, and you can find out if yours is up and running or not. And hopefully I'll have those done by the end of November. But they're timeless. So when you are drawn to those, the messages are all timeless. So they, it all happens with synchronicity. So, all right, you guys, thanks again. And we will catch you next time. Ciao for now. Lots of love.